The Night Crossing, Chapter 2. A few days later, Clara's father began collecting all the family's valuables. He took a large pillowcase from Mama's linen drawer and led the family through each room to look for things that could be sold. To Clara, it almost seemed like a game. From the parlor, he took the beautiful silver tea service he'd given Mama on their first wedding anniversary. From their bedroom, Papa took his own pocket watch with its hand-engraved fob and all of Mama's jewelry, even her wedding ring. Clara and Marta followed him, looking for things to put into the pillowcase. Soon we'll begin our night crossing to Switzerland, Papa told them as he made his way to his daughter's room. There, Jewish people are still free from the Nazi police. We're going to pretend that we have visited cousins here in Innsbruck and that we are Swiss citizens returning home, he explained. Into the pillowcase went the Star of David on a gold chain that Marta had been given upon her graduation from the 8th grade. Marta frowned. She didn't want to leave the few friends she still had, and she didn't want to leave Innsbruck. But some people say the Nazis won't stay for long, Papa, Marta softly protested. In Switzerland, we can live a normal life while some people wait to find out if the Nazis stay or not, Papa murmured, moving toward the dining room. He picked up a small cut-glass dish and 4 brass napkin rings and dropped them into the pillowcase. But when he reached for the pair of old silver candlesticks, Mama stopped him. "No, Albert, please, anything, everything but these," she said. The candlesticks had been in Mama's family for generations. They were nearly 10 inches high, and candles were lighted in them before every Sabbath and on holidays. Clara and Marta had helped Mama polish them once a week for as long as they could remember. "But Helen, these are worth a fortune," Papa gently argued, "and we'll never be able to hide them so that they won't be found." Still, Mama would not part with them. "That monster Hitler may take away everything else, but he won't have my entire family history," Mama said. So Papa left with the pillowcase of valuables under his worn coat to buy arrangements for their escape to freedom. Some of the money would be given to the people who would risk their lives just by helping the family along the way. Watching Mama defend the candlesticks reminded Clara of the many Friday evenings they had spent together, gathered around the dining room table to celebrate the Jewish Sabbath. Mama always began the Sabbath by lighting the candles. She moved her hands in a small circle above the flame of each candle, and then she raised her hands and covered her eyes as she recited the bracha, the Sabbath blessing. Clara liked to say the blessing along with her mother. It began, Baruch atah Adonai, and her mother's voice was always full of gentleness and love. But now, there was a law that forbade the Jews from celebrating the Sabbath or going to the synagogue. By the time Papa returned home, the silver candlesticks had been sewn into the folds of Marta's heavy muslin petticoat. Papa shook his head, but said nothing. He pulled a handful of money from his coat pocket and laid the bills on the table. "From this moment, all of you must remember that we are no longer Austrians. We are citizens of Switzerland," he declared. "Will we cross the mountains like Grandma did?" Clara asked excitedly. A night crossing seemed like a great adventure to her, and she was curious to see the high, snowy Alps that marked the border between Austria and Switzerland. "Yes, like Grandma," Papa answered. "But we're pretending to have been visiting for just a few days, so Mama can pack just one satchel. We mustn't look like we are escaping. So you and Marta can take only what you can wear or put in your pockets. And remember that we'll be walking a very long way." Marta frowned. She knew she would have to leave her new school books behind. Still, she was determined to find room for at least a few of them. Clara looked through her wardrobe and tried to pick out the dress with the biggest pockets. At last she chose one that Grandma had made for her. It had 2 giant pockets on the top and a matching pinafore with pockets all across the bottom. She looked sadly at the small vanity table that Papa had bought used and refinished for her on her last birthday. Now it would never be covered with perfume bottles and tins of bath powder like Marta's table in the opposite corner. Silently, Clara said goodbye to the vanity and to all the things that she would be leaving behind. That evening, the family sat down to a final supper in their Austrian home. Mama seemed nervous as she served the meal. but Papa looked happy for the first time in months. He lifted a glass of water, which was all they had to drink. "To our freedom," he toasted, "and to a safe night crossing." Then, as Marta put her glass back down, they all heard the pair of silver candlesticks clink inside the folds of her petticoat.